us to our second public hearing. I will call that meeting to order. This is a meeting on the hearing on the comprehensive plan. It's been developed collaboratively by Shrewsbury Township, Shrewsbury Borough, Glen Rock, and New Freedom and Railroad Borough through the Southern York County Regional Planning Commission. It outlines a shared vision for land use, housing, transportation, community facilities, natural resources, and intergovernmental cooperation for the region. At the conclusion of this hearing, Council shall consider adopting, and if appropriate, will take a vote on adoption at a regularly scheduled meeting immediately following the public hearing. With that, I will open it up for any questions or comments from the public. Comments from council?
We have discussion on all over again. It's been discussed in meetings.
No, I don't think we have to rehash, but when we vote, we'll probably rehash it again. Sure. Yeah. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the hearing. So this hearing is closed. And
Turn the mic on.
I'm sorry?
Turn the mic on.
I'm sorry. And we're going to continue now into our regularly scheduled meeting. Can I have everyone please rise for the pledge? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our EMS and first responders who've given their all in the line of duty. Thank you. First item up is going to be public comment for agenda items.
Hello, good evening. Devin Taylor. Last month, our borough president went a little off script or off record and acknowledged a Facebook comment regarding the water in our borough and made statements to include that we have never failed a water test. So with me tonight, I brought the violation information for federal fiscal years 21 through 25, and we're going to go through relatively 25 failures of the New Freedom Borough Water Authority. Violation ID 19053, failure to monitor or report, and that was 5/19/2025. Violation 09124, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminated specified. January 23rd, 2024. Violation 09125.
I have to call the meeting back to order. That item is not on the agenda and
January
has to be
23rd,
discussed.
2024. Violation 09126.
Again, meeting, you're not on the agenda, sir.
Contaminant specified. January 23rd, 2024.
Mr. Taylor.
09127. Failure to monitor, report routine samples for contaminant specified. January 23rd,
Do you understand that this is
2024.
for agenda items?
Violation 33392. Failure to monitor or report for the disinfectant byproduct contaminant specified. October 22nd, 2024. Violation 33393. Failure to monitor or report for the disinfectant or byproduct contaminant specified. October 22nd, 2024. Violation 03306. Failure to monitor or report disinfectant residual for groundwater rule. December 22nd, 2022. Violation 23321. Failure to monitor or report for disinfectant residual groundwater rule. At entry point, 5/18/23. Violation 23322. Failure to monitor or report. On May 18th, 2023. Violation 23323. Failure to monitor or report. May 18th, 2023. Violation 23324. Failure to monitor or report. Disinfectant residual groundwater rule. May 18th, 2023. Violation 11-806, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminants specified, January 19, 2022. Violation 11-807, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminants specified, January 19, 2022. Violation 11808, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminants specified, January 19, 2022. Violation 11809, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminants specified, January 19, 2022. Violation 118180, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminants specified, January 19, 2022. Violation 11811, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminants specified, January 19, 2022. Violation 25546, failure to monitor or report disinfectant residual for groundwater rule, January 27, 2022. Violation 32464, failure to monitor or report disinfectant residual for groundwater rule, July 26, 2022. Violation 63539, failure to monitor or report disinfectant residual for groundwater rule, October 20th, 2022. Violation 11060, failure to monitor or report, February 5th, 2021. Violation 22022, failure to monitor or report disinfectant residual for groundwater rule, June 22nd, 2021. This is roughly 20 to 25 violations that our borough authority has. I can leave this with you unless you haven't seen this. I hope that you've seen this. Some of these have, let's see, compliance achieved. Compliance achieved happens after the third to fourth enforcement action. Violation notice, reporting error. So there's a lot of incompetence, and I think that you should apologize and acknowledge the failure of our borough authority. You've had the audacity to say that we've never failed or never did report.
Mr. Taylor, the council cannot consider your comments because you're not in order. I'm very sorry. We have cut your microphone so that it will not be on the video, and you have to learn to abide by the rules of the agenda and the council.
Okay,
and those rules require you to make your public comment at a time when it is permitted
by the rules. Why are you interrupting my public comment?
Because you're not recognized by the chair. You're not supposed to be talking now at all.
Guess what? I am.
So because of that, your comments are not going to be considered by the council.
This is agenda business, this is official business.
No, it's not. It's got to be on the agenda,
In regards to the
Mr. Taylor.
president's comments made last
So
month.
unfortunately, we can't consider what you say. Okay?
You can adjourn, or I'm going to sit right here.
So we can't consider what you say now because you're not in order. You do have to follow the same rules that everybody else put behind you. See, everybody else, they're all abiding by the rules of the council. The council itself is abiding by the rules. So we're asking you to please do the same. If you're commenting on something that's not on the agenda,
this is or isn't on the agenda.
it's not on the agenda, there's no action item
We're here to
with
talk about
respect
the
to
people's
that.
business, we're here to talk about New Freedom Business, this is New Freedom Business, especially when
No,
our
it's got to be a
president is a
specific item
liar.
of business.
A liar!
Oh, do try to control your emotions.
Liar, pants on fire.
Do try to control your emotions.
Liar,
And
pants on
do
fire.
yield the floor. Thank you.
I'm not yielding the floor, I'm still in my public comment. Is anybody running a timer?
You're over.
Okay, good. Good thing you're not the enforcer.
You're over.
Okay, where's that in policy?
Please relinquish the chair, sir, unless you have a comment on.
I do have a comment, and it's right here.
On an agenda.
It's right here?
Not on a,
I just
not on
want-
a
I just want-
Facebook post, on an
All right,
agenda item.
in true Andy Bobby fashion, you're not going to acknowledge that you're a liar. Everyone, this is public information. You can see that New Freedom Borough has failed water testing multiple times.
And you have section 13 that you could have brought this up, not now.
Okay. Well, if it's in section 13, that means it's on the agenda.
No, that means it's public comment, non-agenda items.
Oh, okay. So public comment that's not on the agenda is in the agenda. So therefore, everything is relative. Everything is public comment. Everything is relative.
Just follow
This
the
separation,
rules.
the separation of public comment is bureaucracy at work. This is public comment, this is related to official business of our borough, and you refuse to acknowledge
It
it.
doesn't say that. It says
Thank you for your time.
agenda. Section 13.
Thank you for making my argument for me. It was on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
So now you're going to alter videos for this as well, by the way?
Tonight is on the agenda.
All right, we'll talk about it in court, I guess.
This is not an agenda. Yeah, well, you're gonna have to wait,
For me?
Myra, yeah.
Oh.
This isn't on the agenda.
Oh, I thought it was public comment.
Well, it is, but it's only for items that are on the
No, on the
agenda.
agenda.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
There's another one close to the end.
Okay. All right, I'm following the rules.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're surrendering
Is
your
there any
rights.
other
That's what you're
comment
doing.
on items on the agenda? Seeing none, I will move on to the visitor presentation. Stan, I believe you're first up.
Thank you, Mr. President, and council, members of the council, mayor. You're considering tonight on the agenda, I believe, the approval of the York County OEM shelter agreement. And so I'm just here in case you have any final questions. I'm certainly in support of it and hope that you will vote to approve that tonight. Also, you should have received earlier in the month a situation report from South Central EMA. I can also address any questions that have to do with that.
Does anyone have any questions on the reference report or about the community center contract for shelter?
Yes, I've read over this, and from what Mr. Tilley had said about this paragraphs 4 and 5 and 11, he said that they were very vague. Was that all ironed out? Was those questions answered that, you know, we're not just going to be open up for something that we become responsible for where the county doesn't? And, let's see, I read the article.
Yeah, so there was a total of 5 that Solicitor Tilley said to address with insurance.
It had to do with food service and with custodial care.
But definitely we need to get this finalized. Absolutely.
Did you want to address, or did you want me to comment?
Oh, well, you can certainly comment. I think the council has received the comments that I made, and so I think that at this point, it would be, I don't really have anything to add to what I've provided to you, or that, more correctly, I provided to Manager Schaefer and she provided to you. But if you have any questions or anything, I don't know whether the agreement was actually revised in any way to address those comments. And I also don't know whether that is something that you want done. So I think that would be the first thing, is if you have concerns or anything that you want addressed in the agreement, then you can articulate those, and then we can work on making whatever revisions the council sees appropriate. I think that would be the next step.
Sure.
I don't know whether you have seen the comments or not.
I have not.
Okay.
So,
Well,
that's fine. So I would just say, you know, if you're not ready to adopt it, then by all means, please either get back to myself and I can facilitate some type of communication with county, or we can, you know, get the county to come down or meet with the mayor or meet with council to try to iron out the language based on your solicitor's, you know, comments. If there's things you want nailed down.
basically just, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Well, the only thing I was going to say is, I think in speaking with Kim, I think the general tone is the fact that, like for instance, food service or custodial service, we don't have to provide that. That can be provided by the Red Cross or by York County. We are asked if we want to provide it, then we would provide it. So it's really not an obligation on, correct me if I'm wrong here, It's not an obligation on New Freedom Borough to provide these things, it's only an option for us to provide it, and if we do, then we would be reimbursed for that.
And it can either be part of the contract or not, but one of the points that I made is that if you're faced with an emergency, that's a really tough time to try to make that decision. So my suggestion to council is that you try to plan that ahead of time and say, okay, this is who is going to provide the custodial services, this is who's going to provide the food, these are the backups for the custodial service and backup for the food, so that if whoever that was originally scheduled to provide it is affected by the emergency, that there's someone else that might be able to step in. That was my thought on paragraphs 4 and 5. And then paragraphs 10 through 12, the insurance obligations are, they say, I think you provide appropriate insurance or something. And I just want the borough to speak with your insurance agent to make sure that the insurance is in place and that there is coverage. Indemnity agreements can sometimes be tricky. And the reason that they can be tricky is because an indemnity agreement is a contract obligation. Insurance covers negligence, but it doesn't cover contract obligations. And so we just want to make sure that the insurance company has accepted and will insure the borough for any liability that it incurs by way of an indemnification requirement. That's the tricky part that we need to balance. So,
Do we not already have indemnification insurance through our insurance company for anything that should happen at the community center?
Even if we would rent out the community center for a dance,
Right,
we would require insurance, and whoever is renting it would name the borough as also insured or other insured.
but we
under the
don't
policy.
ask for that, I don't believe.
yeah,
Currently in our current contracts.
Erica, in the agreement that you looked at, I think it did have a requirement that they provide insurance. And that is, as the council president has indicated, is kind of a standard thing. So,
It
you know,
talks about insurance, but it doesn't,
but this agreement doesn't, right?
yeah.
Well, this agreement
Well,
does.
but
As
it
far as
says
I'm
it's
looking.
vague.
If you look
It
at,
should be defined both the type and the insurance coverage and the amount.
if you look at the first page, it's rather explanatory that should something occur that is the borough's fault, of course, we would be responsible. If
Right.
something happens that is the county's fault, they are taking responsibility and have indemnification for something that they might cause. Say the Red Cross comes in and one of their Red Cross workers gets hurt. That's indemnification upon the county for that. And that's why we did this first page, because it addresses those actions that you were concerned about. And I
Mayor
think
is correct about that, but, and you're absolutely correct, the allocation of liability is clear. I'm not concerned about the allocation language. What I am concerned is that we get a document from our insurance agent that says that with respect to the liability that the borough is assuming under the allocation of liability, that your insurance agent says, yes, you are insured for that allocated liability. That is my only, concern about that. I also think that the mayor is right in that, in thinking that you likely are insured under your current policy. But anytime you have a new use like this, that hasn't been contracted for before, I just think it is prudent to check and make sure that there's not some sort of exclusion under your insurance policy for some reason that would prohibit coverage or that they would use to deny coverage. That's my only thing. I do not think that it's a big deal. I think it's easily resolved with a quick call or email to your insurance agent who says, yes, you're insured, and then working with you to say, okay, here's the plan for providing food and custodial services and making sure we have cleaning products and whatever else we need, this is how it's gonna be supplied. That way it's all done in advance, because boy, I've worked with municipalities in emergencies, and there's so much stress, because you have the lives of people, you know, that you've got to make decisions on. And, you know, if you have first responders that are out there responding to a medical emergency or something like that, they're not going to be having time to deal with contract issues and things like that. So that's why my counsel is to try and get all of that worked out in advance, so that, I mean, the mayor's the point man, I think, on emergencies. So, you know, I don't want you to have to be worried about a contract if you need to be worried about saving someone's life. So, so that's kind of, you know, trying to take the pressure off by dealing with the issues up front. That's kind of my thought. And I think it's relatively easily.
So if somebody could convey the questions or the issues to me, I can forward them on to county, so the conversation can continue.
Yeah, with respect to paragraphs 4 and 5, that's fine, and the others that I made would only apply to their
Yeah,
insurance
that's
agent.
what I was gonna say, just the one question was for you and theirs, would be the
And
agent.
the insurance agent is reviewing all the concerns at this point, so,
Okay.
I mean, I think we need some
Yeah,
modifications anyway.
You deal with the insurance company, we
Yeah.
basically don't, we entrust that to you.
Right.
So we should be ready next month.
Okay, so I'll take the paragraph 4 and 5 concerns back to county, so that they can detail those out, you know, to your satisfaction, and then hopefully during the month, get revised language to you.
Don't you think item 4, under the terms and conditions, food service, upon request of the county, and if such resources exist and are available, which means they're not available, so this is, kind of negates that. You know, that's something you and I talked about.
But
It negates it because we don't have the ability and the resources for food service.
But then
That would be the
but-
responsibility of the Red Cross.
But maybe somebody feels we do.
That's
Maybe
my
we don't,
concern.
and then somebody feels we do, and then there's this.
How can they
push.
feel we
I don't
do
know.
if
I don't
it's
know the
written right here, we
situation.
don't?
Or
Because
whether,
it says that we may, right?
No, it says if such resources exist
If.
and are
Not
available.
if.
They aren't available and they don't exist. So it negates basically our responsibility.
But wonder if the other party feels they do, that you have,
No, they don't. I was
that you
spoken
have
to.
a food
what-
service in there.
They
you
don't
have,
feel that
you know,
it's our
whatever.
responsibility.
well, my concern is what happens
Just
if
make
you
it
have,
clear.
if you have a family and there's a baby and there aren't sufficient diapers or there aren't sufficient formula or whatever it is that needs to be supplied, and, you know, you have all these issues, you know, it's not going to be your fellow first responders that are going to bring a claim. It's going to be the people who were impacted, who were affected, who didn't get food, who didn't get the care that they needed or something like that. So that's, you know, and just the fact you're having a debate now kind of tells me, it sends up some warning flags. It says we should probably get this nailed down a little more clearly so that we know what we're doing. And that way then, Mayor, when you have this come before you, you can say, okay, we have a plan. We're calling, you know, the 3 restaurants on Main Street, you know, and they're all going to supply this, that, and the other thing. And
That is not a part of our responsibility
or then-
according to the contract.
no, we don't have to do that. But what I'm saying is you want to have a plan so you know who is going to do it.
The Red
Someone will have
Cross.
to.
Then
That's
put
what
that
the
in.
Red Cross does, am I correct?
No, so the point is that you don't see Red Cross written into this, because county is trying to establish these, the Office of Emergency Management is trying to establish these shelter operations at the local level, because the Red Cross's capability to stand up and run shelters is diminished from what it used to be. So, you know, if you read paragraphs 4 and 5, if you don't have a means to provide food, it falls to county to provide
Same with
food.
custodial
And
services,
same
it
with
says.
custodial services.
Yeah, it
So,
says
you
if
know,
we
there's-
don't have it, we don't have to
But the
provide it.
solicitor is saying that his advice to you is that county offer more concrete information on who that's gonna be before you consider the contract. So I understand that. So I can take that back to county, but I'd like to have the piece of paper that has those thoughts on it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Andrew approved.
I'll get it to you tonight.
Thanks, Stan, appreciate it.
Anything else?
I'm sorry this is taking so long, and I figured this is just a simple, yeah, we want to help, and
It deserves to be done right, so.
Thank you
think-
for the class that you did in Shrewsbury. That was very nice.
Pardon me?
Thank you for the class that we had in
Oh,
Shrewsbury.
the exercise.
Yes.
And you all, I know you all seen the doodle poll again.
yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you, Stan.
Chris?
Good evening. So I have your monthly fire report here for September. Total calls for the month of September were 48. Out of the 48, 35 of them were calls for fire service needs. 10 of those were for EMS, first responder needs, 2 were fire police, and 1 duty officer call. Our average turnout time was right around 3 minutes, 6 seconds. First due on scene time was 6 minutes, 14 seconds. And then the Freedom Borough on scene time was about 1 minute and 41 seconds. Do you want this copy? I have it if you want to. And then, I think that's all I have. You guys have anything for me?
Anyone have questions?
You were affected by the mulch fire yesterday? I know a lot of stations were getting repositioned.
Yeah, so we, about 3 PM yesterday, we got transferred up to Station 53 in Porters. And then about 4 o'clock this morning, we got transferred to the actual fire scene and operated there for several hours before clearing there, so. And then responded to, while they were covering, I believe, a cardiac arrest assist, and then we had our own first due NDA with reports of entrapment, which fortunately there was no entrapment. So, yeah, so we got a lot of tired guys.
Thank you.
We're all resting up this evening.
Appreciate everything you and the guys do.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay. Approval of minutes for the regular meeting held September 8th and the budget meeting held on October 6th.
Make a motion for the approval of the September 8th minutes.
Have a motion for the September 8th minutes, on second.
I'll second that.
Second. Any corrections, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Budget meeting held October 6th.
Motion for the approval of the budget meeting on October 6th.
I'll second it.
Any discussions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of treasurer's report from August 2025. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for the approval of the August 2025 treasurer's report.
Second.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Are there any questions or comments?
I just had a question. In August, there were no SWIFT cleaning for the community center. But then we come in September, or then, did they skip a whole month or something? Or?
That was just matching up with our payment schedule compared to when we received the invoice.
Okay.
Sometimes if we get an invoice, we just cut checks that day. It's a matter of 2 weeks and then it falls at the end of it, yeah.
Well, that was use for a month, well,
Yeah.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed?
Aye.
My vote is aye. It's a delay. Okay, approval of treasurer's report for September 2025. Would entertain a motion.
Make a motion for the approval of the treasurer's report, September 2025.
Second.
A motion and a second. Are there any comments, discussion, or questions?
on page 22, I only see one of the lease payments in September.
I saw one for August. There's not one for the whole month of September.
So that is usually recorded at the beginning of the month because it's in ACH.
So there's only one previous one.
Looks like there's
Oh, there actually, there's down
yeah,
here.
it looks like it probably
Okay, so it went
posted.
both into August.
Yeah, it looks like it probably posted at the beginning and then right at the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that at the bottom.
I thought maybe it just didn't get entered as an ACH deposit at first, but.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? My vote is aye. Unfinished business, Paul Smith Library. I have no update. They're still working to resolve the negotiation. It would be, I guess I'll just give my opinion on the whole thing. I think we should continue to make the payments for this year, and once they go under York County Library System and we no longer have control of the money, we have to revisit it and see, and they have to come and present to us how they're going to control the money and how they're going to make sure that it stays in our area in southern York County. That would be my opinion. I'm open to discussion or.
When I spoke to the head librarian and asked, how are we gonna know the money's gonna stay here locally? She said it would. I said, is that in writing? Her exact words were, we're negotiating.
Exactly.
I want to see it in writing. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist.
Oh, I agree. That's why I say only through the end of the year. Once they go under York County Library System, I think we need to revisit it and we need to see what the negotiated contract was and how they're going to ensure that the donations from our citizens and our tax dollars stay in southern York County. I agree 100%.
Conrad just reopened. How are they coming back into the system?
They're a branch.
Branch?
Yeah, they were a branch before they closed.
Oh, okay.
So they were always a
Okay.
branch.
What's Shrewsbury's thought on this? Pretty much the same as what we're discussing?
Pretty much.
I missed the last meeting, so.
Yeah, I think pretty much they're looking at the same thing. I mean, I don't think they made a commitment to increase their donation. I don't think that will happen if the money, if there's not something in writing again that says the money is going to stay here.
Because I know originally.
I'm not sure they're gonna give that.
Well, I know they were gonna up it if it stayed,
Right.
but if it didn't, I don't know that they made a decision. No? Okay.
That would be my recommendation. So I guess I would entertain a motion to continue the donation that we've already committed for this year and then
So we do it for the year, or just month to month as we have?
let's just keep going month to month
What's
because
on the agenda?
we don't know what's going to happen
Yeah.
next month. I mean, things could change
You bet.
again, so I would entertain a motion for 1 month.
I'll make a motion for the October 2025 allocation of $1,000.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is there any scheduled meetings with those coming up?
They are right now in negotiation with York County Library System.
So it's just ongoing, they have.
And
meetings
it's
when they
not,
can-
we're not involved. I mean, they've told us that they don't want the municipalities there. So we're on the outside looking in, and I think Buck is pretty much, we're just waiting to see what's gonna happen.
Are they thinking about giving up the actual building?
I'm sorry
Are
again?
they thinking about giving up the actual building?
You mean the Paul Smith Library building? That building actually is owned by the Friends of Paul Smith Library, but the building is actually built on YMCA ground.
It's leased,
It's leased,
but
right?
I believe I read in somebody's Borough minutes that there's talk of whether they want to give the library building completely up or not.
That'd be an interesting approach. I think you lose all your leverage then.
I think it's pretty much a one-way negotiation at this moment.
That's an asset that, without that,
Well, it can only be used for a library. I mean, you can't like put a hot dog stand in there or anything. It's pretty much, the lease is written specifically for the library.
when's the land, do we know when the land lease is up? Is that
It's
an
100
annual or 100 year?
What? Chair, please.
The library board has debated whether to keep the building or have the library system take it over. Those aren't official borough minutes of another municipality.
Take it over, but it doesn't say for a cost to purchase the building because the library doesn't own it, the Friends of the Library own it.
Well, I
The people
think,
built it, this community built
But
it.
that's what I'm saying, so the community should get any monies if they sell it.
I think what could be the reason for that statement in the minutes is, I mean, there obviously are maintenance costs associated. If you gave up the building to the York County Library System, they would be responsible for the maintenance. But I think they would also be able to close it down relatively easily too, so.
How would that work? Would they take over the building, or would they perhaps have to lease it back from Friends of the,
I don't know.
that gets into a
It's beyond-
legal,
It's beyond the scope of our,
yeah, that's a real sticky legal question.
Well, the comment was made at that one meeting that there were too many libraries in Southern York County, and what, 3 of them within 9 miles?
By York County. maybe.
Yeah, and it sounded like they wanted to get rid of at least one.
Well, I mean, you can see what they're doing. I mean, they're taking the money that they allocate from state and county, and they would be able to take that back in the library system and put it wherever they wanted to put it. That's really, I think, the end game. Yeah.
It's a shame.
I have a motion and a second for the October donation. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Okay.
Just on, you mentioned about having someone present, looking into 2026. Do you want that to align with the next budget meeting, even though their talks haven't concluded?
I think we could get an update, hopefully, from the head librarian and possibly know whether or not we should be putting money in for it. But even at that, I think we could put a caveat on it that the money has to be released by a vote of council prior to, I mean, we could earmark the money and put it in the budget and then, but it has to be approved by council before being released. Fair enough.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you didn't want someone at one of the upcoming meetings.
We're not allowed to go.
No, I mean, representing the library at one of your budget meetings.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Making a presentation for the amount of money that should be in next year's budget.
I can do that. Let me call and see. At the next budget meeting in November, or just whatever it is,
November.
6th, Third.
Third.
Alrighty. So we've had the hearing, we can go ahead and do the solar energy facility adoption of the ordinance. There's been no change to it.
Correct.
So I need a motion to advertise.
No, a motion for approval, for adoption of the ordinance.
I'm holding it in my hand. Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to adopt the New Freedom Borough zoning to allow for solar energy facility decommissioning and bond requirements. Ordinance number to be determined.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Southern York County Regional Comprehensive Plan. This is consider approval of a resolution adopting the Southern York County Regional Comprehensive Plan. I would entertain a motion for discussion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution for the Southern New York County Regional Comprehensive Plan. Excuse me.
Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
There's been lots of discussion over this. Just some of my points I'm gonna put out here again, that there was an online questionnaire that surveyed the region population, and only 3.2% of the region responded to that 52-question online survey and paper survey tool. In this plan, New Freedom Borough is designated as a primary growth area. And then you talk about exploring adding middle housing types to all residential districts within the boroughs. They also talk about that feasibility EMS station with a location of the Susquehanna Trail and 6 Run Road in Springfield Township that we talked about not long ago. That's in here. The study clearly indicates New Freedom will be disproportionately affected by population density in relationship to the other municipalities in the study. For example, currently New Freedom's population density is 1,000% greater than Shrewsbury Township, yet New Freedom is designated as a primary growth area. In here, the residential housing demand projections 2030 to 2050. Single-family housing in New Freedom, another 251 homes. Single-family attached housing, another 50. Multi-family unit housing in New Freedom, 65. Mobile homes, 15, for a total of another 381 homes in New Freedom. Who moved here for that? Because people I surveyed, people I talked to, they came here for the small town. They didn't come here to live in a metropolis.
There's no place else to build in New Freedom.
Absolutely there is.
You can always buy up land, tear down the houses, and build multifamily
Well,
units.
Absolutely. And some of the businesses around here, the old BFW, that's more than likely going to be sold. I'm sure that'll be high-density housing someday. You know, other, you know, the farm right behind, is it Reeling and Singer? Is that, no, it's not Reeling, is it? What is it? Orwick. That's a huge farm there.
That's
That's-
Maryland.
No, it's not,
Isn't it?
and it's already been reclassified,
They, I believe.
rural
they-
residential.
Yeah, and I believe they had made
There you go, people.
a suggestion to the township that be rezoned, but there's also opportunities in there with the official map.
Yeah, some of that's in the township, but
Yeah,
right behind me is a New Freedom.
yes.
So it's nice to have a plan. I'm not knocking plans. Please don't misread this. But to bring in this many more homes and having multi-family homes, I went to these meetings in the township. They're talking about having you look at the home, it'll look like a single-family home, but they will have multiple families in that home. Is that what you want next door? You know, more high-density housing? I mean,
You mean just, you're talking about the facade homes where they put a facade up to make it look like a home, but there's actually apartments inside.
because I even believe they did that for our residential, where you can have a multi-family dwelling. That was recently changed, wasn't it right around here?
That was probably with the central business district overlay. That was probably a change.
So they're already making these changes in the zoning. This is just the next step, and it hurts my heart to see these municipalities around us approving this plan, because this is not why we moved here.
I think I want to add one thing. I mean, the 381 homes, we don't have EDUs for those. And this would involve probably a 10 to $15 million upgrade.
We didn't have any need for the 34 that you put over in that field over there.
We don't right now, but it's not to say some developer.
No, I
No, it's not.
was agreeing with you, not disagreeing.
Yeah, but I mean,
you would
the
have to have
possibility is there. I mean, this is not why the people came here. It was the small town, New Freedom. People came here to get away from the cities.
Mike?
Yeah, Eric is 100% right, and I just Googled, the average home has 1.88 vehicles, so that's two cars per house. So that would give us another 762 vehicles on the road just from 2 vehicles per house. 14% of households have 3 or more cars. And so you're talking about, how long do you wait right now on Constitution and Main Street on a Saturday to make a left turn?
It's getting bad.
Going up Main Street, can you add another 4 or 5 cars to that line? Because the infrastructure's not getting bigger. Wolfmeyer, the back road going to exit 36 in Maryland, a lot of people, how do you feel going around those curves when folks cut those corners, right? You're not expecting a car there at 5 in the morning and boom, there's a car. That'll increase. That's, to piggyback on Erica's point.
Let me ask you this, whether we have this and this is a question I'm throwing out for my information. Whether we do this or not, is there anything that would change if where the old Summers Cannery was, they decide they're gonna tear that all down and put houses in? Is there anything that our planning commission could do about it? I don't think there is, because there's nothing we really could have done about the 34 houses that went in out at the farm. Additionally, if the land is there and it's residential, they can't turn it down.
If it's zoned for whatever,
You have to allow it.
This comes back to continuously rezoning our communities.
What is that zone now? That's industrial? Is that industrial over there?
No, the only portion that's industrial.
Commercial?
Is out on Constitution.
Yeah, that's commercial.
But, yeah.
Okay. How hard would it be to change from commercial to residential if they wanted to? Getting to her point.
Well, you can't spot zone, right? So you can't just pick a parcel among other parcels that are zoned one way and change the zone.
it has to be continuous. So obviously on the other side, you do have residential, that would have to become pushing over across Front Street. But either way, you're correct that no matter what, if the zoning and the subdivision land development ordinance allow a property to be developed the way it is written at this time, that developer or that builder or whoever has to abide by those regulations. What the comp plan says is not going to change.
Our local ordinances
Yeah,
and zoning.
this is just a guidance of where we're currently standing, what the needs of the community are, what are areas for improvement, what do we want to see as far as any kind of growth. It's not something that you're going to pick up and say, well, we can't have that type of commercial use, or we can't have that type of development because the comp plan says otherwise. That's not really what this document's for. The only other thing that I would make mention is the numbers never sat well with me either through the whole process. And York County Planning came back and said to the consultant that your numbers are unrealistic. New Freedom Borough doesn't have property to build X number more of single-family homes. The only way that that's possible is infill and redevelopment, but then that means you're tearing down other buildings, as was mentioned. So I think through the whole process, I struggled with the numbers too, because it's just not realistic, but it's so on paper, and that
I
is a
think we
concern.
have to be realistic because money talks. We've seen money talk in this community. Money talks. I've been the only council member up here to consistently vote no against this.
We've seen more clean and green areas in this borough change from agricultural clean and green to residential in the last 20 years than I ever would have imagined. Like you said, money talks. You can buy your way out, pay the back taxes.
Let me ask this question. If we don't approve this comprehensive plan, what's the downside for New Freedom? And obviously, the County Planning Commission put this all together. What's the downside if we just say, yeah, no, we don't agree with the numbers?
Is this the changes that they recommended that we made though? They recommended that it
I didn't make any changes to the numbers based on your comments.
There were changes.
There were changes.
Yeah, so this is.
Slight changes,
Correct, yeah.
but
Yeah.
So anyway.
it's
back
coming
to-
down the
back to-
road, people. It's
Back to my
coming.
question though,
Yeah.
what's the downside to not approving it? Does it put us in a different light for grants? Does it cause us?
Yeah.
What happens if we just say no?
I mean, obviously, most of your grant opportunities reference, do you have zoning ordinance, do you have subdivision land development, do you have a comp plan? And when was the last time it was updated? Well, I think the last update is 92, I believe was the last comp plan update, so it's long overdue, and I think if there would have been something in between then and now, this would make this process maybe a little easier to go through and maybe understand a little better, but that still doesn't explain pushing in the growth area that's already there from basically from the corridor down through Shrewsbury Borough into New Freedom Borough, and kind of collecting everything through the township, and the numbers of why they're just seem so skewed compared to the amount of land that's still available in New Freedom, and what the goal is for that land.
Let me ask one more question before I forget it. If I'm a developer and I walk in here and I sit down and I say, hey, I want to develop this piece of ground, and your comp plan says that I'm allowed to build multifamily homes, isn't that
No.
a big, it's not a benefit to?
No, well, it matters what the zoning ordinance say and the subdivision land development says at the time that that plan is presented. Because even as this comp plan could go through, you could, in a couple of months, you could change your zoning districts and your zoning requirements and completely negate what would be permitted by this document.
This council gets giddy over grants. grants are not free. It is not free money. It is government cheese. And every time you sign on to grants, you are conceding to strings within that grant. Just like you said there, if we say no, you know, so do you want to say yes so that you can get grants, and now you just
No, it was just a
ceded
question.
to that? You know, I brought that out. Money, grants are not free.
Andrew, since we're talking about, what is the, I guess, benefit of a comp plan if the comp plan says something for free, but we don't necessarily have to do it because we don't have the zoning and we're not gonna revise our zoning ordinance to address the comp plan, so.
The
how does the
benefit is
comp-
it provides, as you look to expand and meet the needs of the residents in the community, it's a governing document. I shouldn't say governing, it's a guiding document that you can refer to, that you can refer to as you build out the community.
This blew my mind. In the Shrewsbury Borough meeting, the engineer that came up with this plan, if somebody comes and wants to live in New Freedom, they should be able to live here.
He said that?
She said that.
She did.
Gee, I'd like to live in the Hamptons. Should they make accommodations so I can live in the Hamptons?
I've expressed the same
And we need to reimagine.
issue
It's
with
just-
the process, and that was, you referenced the need, that you need to have this housing. Well, why? Like, where are these magical people appearing from? And that's a discussion that we had internally in the office too, is like, okay, it says that we need this, but why and when?
We have an aging community. We already have existing homes. If people want to live here in New Freedom, I'm not trying to block people from coming to New Freedom. We came here, we love it. There's existing homes that are going to become available. We don't need to be adding almost another 400 homes.
So you're just waiting for me to pass.
My home is going to be available one day. There's pre-existing homes.
Have you tried to find a home in New Freedom that might suit your needs? If you have an elderly relative and you want to have a secondary,
I've got a home
place for
being
them
built
to
across
live?
the street from me, right on the corner.
I've not seen the comprehensive plan.
You don't want to.
But I've seen the process over the 40 years that I've been involved with as a municipal solicitor. And I've also seen the trends that the planners are following. So maybe I can provide a little context for you based on what I'm seeing in the developments. There's generally, in my experience, a three-step process. The comprehensive plan is put in place, and then you do your zoning, and then you do your subdivision land development. That's usually how it's done. And so what usually happens is that the comprehensive plan, although it's not a governing document, it's a guiding document, but it is used then by engineers who then say, well, now in order to implement the comprehensive plan, we need to change the zoning ordinance. And in order to implement those two, we need to change the subdivision and land development ordinance. So you need to understand that you're starting a process. The second thing to understand is that Pennsylvania has many small municipalities. And so there's been an effort, not unlike what you're seeing with the library, honestly, to regionalize. So what I am hearing, without ever seeing the comprehensive plan, is what I've been hearing and seeing in other municipalities that I represent, which is that they're going to make this area a region. And so they're going to make New Freedom Borough a population center in order to preserve larger farms in the municipalities and preserve the, quote, rural character of those other townships and so forth that surround you. So that is what based on just hearing what you're talking about tonight, that's what I'm hearing is going on. They're starting a comprehensive plan that's part of an overall regionalization process that's going to make New Freedom Borough more of a population and business hub and try to preserve the farmland outside. That's the Maryland model, and that's what they're trying to do here, it sounds like.
I think Erica has a point, though. I mean, do the council members here and the future council have a say in, you want to maintain the community as it is, or do you want it to become a population center?
Well, you don't lose it directly, but you lose it indirectly through this process that I'm talking about. That's kind of.
I really appreciate what you just said, Walt, because you really firmed up my vote.
Well, there's one other thing I just want to say that I think is important for the good of the borough. And that is, you need to preserve your industrial and commercial base, whatever land you have devoted to that. It is very easy in this type of comprehensive plan and regional process to lose industrial and commercial as you're pushed toward residential. And commercial and industrial tends to be a lower user of municipal services and also a higher value of land, so that it helps maintain your tax rates. So what I'm hearing, I forget what the building was that someone mentioned could be torn down and replaced with residential units. That's exactly the type of danger that I would think would affect the economics and taxes in the borough. So I think you need to be aware of that too. I'm sorry I didn't want to interrupt, but I just wanted to finish the thought on what I see as the trends that I'm seeing and how it's being done, so you have that context in case it's helpful for you.
Well, then they go in and they appeal what their assessment value is, and they get a sweet deal, and we lose some more. Two prime examples. The township is giving up their land to hundreds of thousands of square foot buildings, warehouses.
Right.
There's another one coming in over by Giant. There's one going in behind the new Royal Farms. Prime example right here. Campbell Road, Veterans Drive. We were told they cannot build on that lot. That lot cannot be subdivided. It has no utilities. You cannot build on that lot. The borough gave it away for something like $35,000.
Oh, those two lots, yeah.
They came right back there. That developer sat right there. They let him subdivide that lot, put utilities on it, and I believe he turned around and sold it for $200 and something thousand. It's stuff just like that. People say, well, there's no land now, and it's zoned this, and we can't. No, this plan is a foot in the door, and it's going to just steamroll down. It's going to happen. It's.
What's our planning commission say about it?
They're in love with it.
Huh?
They're in love with it.
They liked it?
I think so.
It's a suggestion to council.
When have you ever seen a suggestion not come through to fruition?
That's not a vote, it's a suggestion to council. Council can do what they want.
I understand, but just like you said, this is the framework to go forward. They always say you don't have to do it. Show me a time where they didn't do what the framework was. This is coming, people. It's coming.
I think it doesn't put enough pressure on Shrewsbury Township. Same old story.
Well, it certainly helps them, because if you're talking about making this a group, I forget what the word you used.
Regional.
I'm sorry?
Growth area?
A growth area. You just mentioned several locations over in Shrewsbury Township. Wait a minute, how can they build them? They have no EDUs. They don't have EDUs. They're begging Shrewsbury every month.
We are the designated as a primary growth area, New Freedom.
They did adjust some of those figures, I believe, but even the adjusted figures absolutely make no sense whatsoever, because I don't see how it could ever come to fruition unless, like you said, unless down where the other brewery is,
Let me summarize a little bit what Walt said, which I found very, very interesting.
Point of order.
Somewhat perturbing,
Point of order.
sir.
You guys have been in discussion for 15 minutes on a singular topic. More people, you guys have all talked more than twice per this single topic. You violated Robert's Rules of Order. It's time to vote or table this until next month.
Yeah, I think it was Walt mentioned it last year. Did I ask you about the power of the borough to stop building? You said since we're in a commonwealth, the borough governments can't really stop that. That's a summarization of your statement, right?
Well, it depends on, and I think that was stated correctly here by a council member, I forget who, but that if they're consistent with zoning, then there are permitted uses. In other words, you don't need special approval, and they can just come in and get their building permit and go. So in those circumstances, you know, you're correct. There's very little we could do. The other thing that happens is if a comprehensive plan comes in and promotes, for example, more housing or something like that, someone can come in and use that as an argument to the zoning hearing board to allow a variance for a use that's otherwise not allowed. Let's say, you know, because we're a designated growth area or something, we're going to get, you should change the zoning and allow us to build housing in this industrial lot or something. So you can see some of that.
Mr. Walters left, but do we have any idea of how he feels about this? I mean, does he agree with this?
Well, this doesn't really have anything, I'll take that back. It has a lot to do with Stan because his emergency management system it's going to be taxed to the max with more development. And obviously Chris left, and obviously EMS, fire. I mean, when you start growing like this, you know, it's, the only thing I was going to say about Walt's comments is he said it's a process. So once we pass a comprehensive plan, then it can go, and zoning can be changed, and different things can happen. So we have a motion and a second.
Well, you had a question what the planning commission thinks? It's right in the back of our packet. October 6th they met. Their new business was Southern York County Regional Comprehensive Plan. There was no public comment. There was no discussion at all between the commission. Their decision was to approve it for adoption to the new Freedom Borough Council. Ryan, you made the motion to recommend adoption. And now it's here.
Yep, that's how it works.
But they had no discussion, none.
Well, do we have to make a positive motion, or can we make a motion against it?
Oh, no, you could vote no.
Vote against it.
I'd like to make a motion we don't approve it.
Well, we already have a motion and a second to approve it, but you can vote no whenever the vote is taken.
I'll call the question.
or you can call to amend the.
He just called the question. He just called the question.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does, Mayor.
It takes 3/4 of the council to approve.
And I've already point of order. You guys continue to go into discussion. We've wasted enough time talking about a piece of guiding document that does not align itself with the people's opinion or the direction of the people. Why are we going to adopt a compass that does not fit the needs of the people?
That's why we're having an extended discussion.
You can do that in committee business or executive
You
session.
can't do it in committee.
You can't do it in executive session.
This is where we discuss the people's business, here.
You vote on the people's business here.
All right, I'm going to call the question. All in favor of adopting the comprehensive plan as presented, say aye. All those opposed, say no.
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 My vote is no. Sorry we wasted so much. It wasn't always.
It should have never made it out of committee. The guy who suggested it didn't even vote for it. You're wasting the people's time, Ryan.
All right, enough. Approval of the shelter agreement, we're tabling that until Walt gets back, or yeah, until we get the questions answered back.
Can I make a statement about that? Please make sure you read the front page of that, because I think it answers a lot of the questions that came up before, in front of us tonight. It doesn't say we have to do anything. It says if we can, we will. If we can't, we won't. We don't have to.
Yeah, this is on the shelter agreement with York County.
Right.
Okay. New business, phase one aeration upgrades, consider approval of contract change order number 1 in the amount of $4,081.76. This is, I would entertain a motion for that.
Motion to approve it.
A motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
My vote is aye. Consider approval of application for payment number 6 in the amount of $139,939.04 to PSI Pumping Solutions Incorporated. This is a normal budgeted payment. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the payment request.
Second.
A motion is second. Is there any discussion? All in favor? I'm sorry.
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye.
Just on an update on that, we did put it with the weekly communication, but we did request over $600,000 already from the Commonwealth Financing Authority grant for this project. So that payment request, reimbursement request is being reviewed now at DCED. I'm sure there's additional documents that we'll have to provide them as we move through the process. But that initial payment, as we're eligible for 66% of costs incurred to date, so.
Bailey Avenue Stormwater Project, consider approval of contract change order number 1 in the amount of $3,466.50.
Move that we approve the contract change order 1, in the amount of $3,466.50.
Motion?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion?
What's the reason for the increase?
This was basically as a result of field adjustments needed, we had conflicts with other utilities. Once we're able to open it up and verify depths, we had to shift some things around. And they both relate to the same.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
My vote is aye. Consider approval of contract change order number 2 in the amount of $987.50.
I'll make that motion.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Consider approval of the 2026 Animal Care and Housing Agreement with York County SPC. Oh, did I miss one?
Skip.
I'm sorry, skip it.
There were 2 change orders in one for that.
Payment 3?
Oh, I got it, yep, payment 3, all right. Consider approval, I put a check mark next to it, so I figured I could finish it. Consider approval of application for payment number 3 from Borough Excavation in the amount of $102,097.75 for the Bailey Avenue Stormwater Project, and this has been planned.
I'll make that motion.
Motion,
Second.
second, any discussion?
Does this pay it off?
No, the balance to finish is $1,875, and that just represents the balance to stabilize the lawn areas. So once we're good with that, close that out, then we'll have a final application.
Does that come in the spring with the timing of the project?
Based on, it'll probably be next month because it's already established. It's just
Okay.
till this got through
Getting
the
going.
process. Yeah.
Any other questions?
There's performance bonds in place for that. Just same kind of thing with the Commonwealth Financing Authority. This project was fully funded with a grant from FEMA, which is actually passed down through FEMA through a hazard mitigation program. So we did already submit for reimbursement for about $160,000 that we were eligible for to date. So again, that payment should be coming in once we get through that process.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Okay. Consider approval of the 2026 Animal Care and Housing Agreement with York County SPCA. You want to talk to us a bit? I'm not sure what to say about it.
I've got stuff to say about it.
I think we all have
I
stuff to
think
say about
we
it.
all do.
It's a mess.
I know there's been a lot of communication. There's been even some media releases from the Adams County SPCA as well as York County SPCA with operational concerns for the York County SPCA. So everyone has a copy of the 2026 Animal Care and Housing Agreement. They're requesting that agreement be returned by the end of the year for consideration for 2026. We do have a York County Municipal Administrators, Municipal Managers meeting set for Thursday, and this topic will be discussed. And as it has been discussed in almost every one of our meetings over the last 6 months. And I'm curious to see, and would suggest the council table this until we can get a handle on what other municipalities are considering in York County. Because there's a lot of upset elected officials as well as appointed officials with how things are being operated at this point. And that shows in some of the documentation that has been sent out.
Yeah, big time. I have a question. So you mentioned Adams County SPCA. Are they associated with York County in any way, or they're just like speaking out on behalf of some of their employees?
Correct.
Yeah, that I think speaks volume in itself. When another organization affiliated in name is speaking out on behalf of another location, I think that's concerning, and that's what's on the outside, not the inside.
Right, and just with the Adams County SPCA, their issue was with a change in intake policy. York County changed their intake policy, and that basically flooded neighboring SPCA's with stray intake.
And local
Shut down the volunteer.
organizations. We have, how many local organizations were there in York County? There must have been 25. And now they're inundated because the SPCA really isn't doing their job. As
They have
to what
opened
we
up
expect.
back to municipalities, residents of municipalities with animal care and housing agreements that they can take them there, but
Who, the SPCA?
York County, yeah, when they changed their
They
intake
still close
policy.
at 4? I mean, what are you gonna do, people work. I can't tell you how many kittens I put in my basement until I got home from work, and until I got up there, they were closed.
So Kim, how many kittens do you currently have?
No, I don't have any, my wife hates cats. She's a dog person.
So I don't need a motion to table.
I've got some stuff I want to say.
Okay.
For the people that don't know what's going on, the people that aren't here in the room that are going to watch this, so that they understand. they want us to send payment before December 31st. I think you start sending it in November, I think I saw somewhere. They're not gonna release the full details regarding the changes to their policies. That'll be shared sometime in December. The contract fees, they want us to pay $4,147. They're estimating an intake in 2020, 2025, the service summary was 2 cats and 3 dogs. They want $4,147. I thought, oh, that's to take care of a few animals. No. Our contract fees are population-based, not tied to animal intake. They plan on gradually increasing fees over the next 5 years, okay? So remember what I just told you. They're gonna gradually increase fees over the next 5 years. Now listen to this. Currently, the SPCA collects between $200,000 and $300,000 from municipalities and seeks to increase this to $840,000 in 2026, citing rising costs. Using data from their tax forms 990, total salaries and wages increased from $1 million in 2020 to $2.6 million in 2024. Who in here got a $25,000 increase last year in their wage? 25,000 a year? You getting that increase?
The director got almost 100,000.
Well, yeah, 25 a year. Total expenses rose from $2.7 million in 2020 to $5.3 million in 2024. Top key officers, director, medical director, housing director, finance director, and veterinarian salaries increased from $349,000 in 2020 to $810,000 in 2024 for the same 5 people. The director's salary alone increased from $119,000 in 2020 to $199,000 in 2024. And they're coming after our tax dollars here.
That's more than a congressperson.
That's right.
So when they say in here, they're telling you what they're doing. We plan to gradually increase fees over the next 5 years. Look what they're doing in 1 year. They want to go from an additional $840,000, and this has to do with population base. So I sat there and thought, well, what happens if you got a little town that's only got 300 people, but they got a lot of rogue dogs? They just pay a little tiny bit, and we have a lot of people, and we don't have many that come out. We have, what, 5? And we want $4,000 from us. And another interesting tidbit here, the York County SPCA is an independent contractor to the local governing body. I rest my case. No.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you, that's why I said, I have nothing to say about it.
So just so you all know, that's, and this is almost like the library.
I was just gonna say, are they where they somehow?
They say we're
Well, the county pays part of it.
a nonprofit, but then you have these 5 people taking over 2.6 million in income, and here you go. This director, Mr. Martinez, he came in 2019. When did this all start? 2020 is when this all, the wheels came off. There's only 3 municipalities that say no, that do not currently have an agreement with them, and I say New Freedom needs to be the 4th one. I don't care what they do or what they say. This is outrageous. And you have other animal intake people here in the community talking about how severely they are mismanaged and prior employees. Us on council got the documentation here. And where are our commissioners in this?
Yeah.
Where are our commissioners? Crickets. Crickets. I could go on. Oh,
I know,
just
I
isn't
know.
hot.
It's related to York County Library System, I think. Yeah, I learned a long time ago that nonprofits, somebody's profiting.
Absolutely.
It's, yeah, and
It's criminal.
they can be abused, and that, I think we are seeing a abuse right there. Okay, so it's tabled, does everyone agree? I have,
Do we have to take
So-
that to table?
okay, motion to table,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye.
Quick question, how exactly are they appointed? Do they have a board? How are they structured? Because one of my questions was going to be, are they affiliated with York County in any way, shape, or form? As far as, because again, somebody said the library, and that's one of the first things that came to mind when we were reading some of this stuff.
Robert Lambert appoints his own board that then oversees him.
Yeah, like they all.
Same thing. It's the same
All right, so
thing.
He's
it's
got
structured the
his
same way, but it's not
little
York
Ford.
County.
It's not
They're not officiated.
It's not.
This is
no,
a
it's not.
contractor.
Mr. President, can I make a point of order,
Sure.
please? I think we need, if we're gonna table this, are we tabling this indefinitely to a certain time, to the next
Well,
meeting?
I think Andrew's gonna try to get some more additional
Then we
information
wanna
on this.
table it to the
and,
next meeting.
Okay, yeah, we can table it until, well, we'll stay on the agenda, so it'll come up again, and either we'll get an update, or,
I just wanna make sure we're doing it the right
Yeah.
way.
I understand. Point well taken.
Just to, you asked about commissioners,
Yes.
our York County funding. There was an agreement between the SPCA and York County commissioners that they would provide the funding necessary to build the spay and neuter clinic. So basically, whatever the loan was to build that expansion on the building, the county was picking up that cost. I think it was somewhere $200,000 or $300,000 per year. That obligation is gone, so the commissioners removed the funding
Okay.
because it didn't match the expenditure.
Yeah.
I believe there was an assumption that that was going to continue indefinitely. So that additional funding would have come through and helped make up this difference that they're requesting that municipalities pay now.
The difference in salaries is just
A change
phenomenal.
from the top is what it sounds like, but that's.
Okay,
figure out.
let's go back to being tabled.
Yeah.
Okay, on a kinder note. Consider approval of the 2025 Kindness Week proclamation.
Should have started with that.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
we did do this, we did incorporate this or adopt this last year. I think it's very important, but I also think it's very important for the borough, for council, for members of our community to recognize those persons that go without that recognition during the year. If you see, I don't know who did it. We have a gentleman in town that walks from Shrewsbury to New Freedom. Somebody paid for his new clothes. Somebody took him to the barber shop. Somebody took him to get some food. We have other examples of that. I would like council to be very aware. We have a proclamation here, but we also have certificates that we can hand out. It's a card. Would ask you, Andrew, to do some card stock. You can come in here if you see somebody that does something kind. It could be as small as a young person carrying out a lady's groceries out of a store, or just assisting somebody, a kid, and I know we have them in town, mowing somebody's grass, just being generally kind, which God knows we could use more of it. So please keep that in mind for this opportunity during Kindness Week, which goes from November 8th through November 15th. I myself would love to personally hand out dozens of these recognitions to anybody that you may have. Lately, we're not very kind. This country is not very kind as of late. I think people need to be kind. People listen to these recordings. Let us know, let the borough know. I have an email address. You're more than welcome to let me know if somebody does an act of kindness, and I'll be happy to give. I probably have 5 people right now that I'm going to immediately give to. Keep in mind, this is an important thing. We always take the negative. I think it's time to take the positive just for 1 week. Thank you.
Make a motion that we approve the 2025 Kindness Week proclamation. All in favor? Opposed? I vote is aye.
I do have a copy of this. So would you like to put this out on top of the stand out there?
Yep.
And maybe put it on our website so people know? Please.
Can we go after Savvy Citizen too?
Just right
Sure.
there.
Yep, he's just writing it down.
All of you.
I realize it's for a week, but I would think about it on a yearly thing, do it on a continuous.
Well, this was started by a gentleman.
I know how, but it just.
Okay, you know how it
It's only
started.
designated a week, and then everybody's gonna go, okay, we have to be kind after that.
You know what? If you want to give, I'll keep those cards year-long. And if anybody has something that deserves an act of kindness, recognition, I'll be more than happy to make sure somebody gets it.
Yep, sounds good. Consider approval of the high bid of $8,353 for the 1994 Bandit chipper. This was sold on, I'll give you the name. Municipid.
Make a
Say
motion.
it- Say it again. Municipid, thank you.
Make a motion for the acceptance of the 1994 Bandit chipper at the total of $8,353.
Second.
And just one note, this is more than what we anticipated. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Consider approval of the high bid of $8,300 for the 1994 Onan generator.
Make a motion for the approval of the 1994 Onan diesel generator for a total of $8,300.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just real quick, so the generator, and then there was the enclosure, which was a separate,
That's a separate item, yeah,
but was the enclosure over that generator?
it was.
How come they're separate?
We separated them out because we thought it might go to different
Okay.
parties. In this case, it's gonna go to the same person.
When you say enclosure, are you talking about
The cover.
well, there's 2 covers. It's underneath of a, what do you call it? Almost like a
No,
pergola.
This is just the enclosure that sits over the
Okay,
generator.
Yeah,
can we
It's not-
use this money to pay for the new?
Well,
the
the new one, the
designated-
new one was 100% paid.
Oh, and the enclosure? Both?
Everything, the installation, the purchase of the generator, the install.
Boy, you're good.
Well, that's only because there was local share account money available.
But you're still good.
He's trying to be kind to
The
you.
compliment. move.
Yeah, it's gonna be kindness week.
We're getting in practice.
That's right.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? My vote is aye. Consider approval of the high bid of $360 for the generator enclosure.
Yeah, so it looks different in your packet compared to what's on there, and that's because we had the reserve set at $500. It went for $360, so because it did not meet the reserve, Municipal had to send an offer out to the highest bidder to accept that bid, and it just happened to be the same individual that is purchasing the generator. So that document came after this was already printed and ready to go.
Okay.
It's still, there's no change in price, no
Yeah.
change in bidders, it's still at $360 for the enclosure.
Make a motion for the approval of the, whatever you want to call it, the soundproof, weatherproof generator shell for $360.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't think it
That is
sounds
aye.
good, but I'm not gonna worry about it.
Solicitors report.
Okay, I can report on several things for you tonight. Just to give you an idea of some of the things I've done, you've talked about several of them. The decommissioning agreement, I've put in some, or suggested some additional language. The shelter agreement, we talked about that tonight, so I was able to look at that. I have drafted a fee resolution for liens for 2026, so that the borough will be able to include the cost of any lien enforcement in the amount of the lien that you place. So if someone owes the borough money, for example, for a property maintenance code violation or something like that, why you would include the cost of the legal proceedings along with the actual cost of whatever the enforcement actions you had to take were. So we did that. We are continuing to process the Altieri taking. You own it, so you don't have to worry about that. But some of the notices that we sent were returned because these liens were old. And so we're following up with additional research to try to find the location of these lien holders and so forth in order to get them notice of the taking. I don't expect any of them, because of the age of the liens, I don't expect that any of them really expect to recover any money anyway, so I think they'll probably throw our notice in the trash, but nevertheless, we have to send it, so we will do that. I've been monitoring, thanks to Manager Schaefer, the progress on the Wilderson property. Thank him for all of that work. It's a lot to coordinate. So if I can be of any assistance, I'm happy to do that, but at this point, that matter seems to be under control. The towing matter, those are the ones with the vehicles, including the ones that leak the fluids. We, as you may recall, we got a judgment from Judge Sweeney. Mr. Tomey appealed. We filed the complaint as required by the law, and Mr. Tomey has filed an answer. I talked with, of course, emailed with Manager Schaefer about what we should do in response. As he indicated correctly, it is a serious problem that we need to fix, because it's not only the inoperable vehicles, but also some of them are leaking fluids, which are getting into stormwater, which impacts our obligations under MS4. So all of those things mean we have to proceed with enforcement. So I considered whether we would do motions practice because his answer doesn't comply with the filing requirements and so forth. But I think to Manager Schaefer's comments, let's get this rolling. We're just going to list it for trial.
What's motions practice?
Move to have his answer dismissed.
Don't speak English, we're.
Yeah, sorry about that. File a motion to have his answer dismissed because it doesn't comply with the filing requirements. Things like that. But what I think we'll do is just proceed and get it before a judge as quickly as we can. I'm hopeful that we can get it before a judge by the end of the year, but I don't know that. So we'll see. The Devin Taylor matter, I looked at the docket entries, and there's been no activity since July 30, when the case was assigned to a new judge. So as I indicated to you in the past, I'll update you on the status of that case every month, and let you know if there's any change. Just a couple of comments on the meeting tonight. I just want to clarify that Councilmember Ryan, your motion on the comprehensive plan was appropriate. You can either make a motion to approve or to deny any action. And you do not, because you make a motion doesn't mean you must vote in favor of it. You can make a motion in order to bring the matter to the floor for consideration by the council, which is exactly what you did. The other thing that's permitted then, not only are you permitted to make a motion and then vote against it, but you're also able to make a motion thinking you're in favor of it and then change your mind later as a result of discussion and then vote against it. So, and that can go with either a positive motion, a motion to approve something, or a negative motion, which is a motion to disapprove something. And the other clarification I'd like to make is that your discussion of the comprehensive plan was actually one of the more efficient discussions that I have seen. I've seen many municipalities where I've been solicitor who have wrestled with issues in the comprehensive plan for sometimes hours at a public meeting. So because of all the different issues that are brought, as Councilmember Eric, as you mentioned, all the different components to it, I think Manager Schaefer did similarly mention all the different components to that. So it can take some time to kind of weave your way through it. There is no limitation to council on the length of the debate, so long as the person speaking is recognized by the chair, meeting the president of the council. So just want to make sure we were clear on all of those types of things. So that's my report this evening.
Thank you.
Manager's report.
All right. Everyone has a copy of the September 2025 Manager's Report, along with an update on grant applications that are currently in process or under review. Honestly, a lot of the month of September was spent drafting the 2026 budget proposal and assembling that, so there weren't a lot of updates for the month, other than the couple items that I noted there. So I don't have anything else unless anybody has any questions.
I just have a comment that generally council doesn't hear about when there's open positions. And it says conducted interviews for multiple open positions, water operator, public works, and recreation director. And I know in the budget, it's been recommended to implement a new tax to bring in revenue. I have said it before, and I highly encourage a freeze on hiring, just because there's an open position. Some are no-brainers, somebody at the wastewater, or, there's certain positions, of course, fill them. But every single position, when it comes open, to my knowledge, is just automatically filled. Shrewsbury Borough is a comparable borough to us, with homes, size, so forth. They have 5 employees. I think we have 5 just in our office.
Correct.
They don't have the sewer plant, I understand that. Do you have 14 or 15 employees in our municipality?
Yeah, it would be 16 full-time.
16 full-time. So just take away, the wastewater. We have more than double. They have 2 in their office, and I believe they have 3 on their public works. I'm putting it out here that insurance is a lot. Salaries are a lot. That it's something that needs to be looked at, a cost justification. I know we outsourced mowing. Well, that took a lot of time, we're keeping the same amount of people, right?
Correct.
I just, analysis of what they're doing and so forth, just to see if that need is really there. We have 5 on Public Works,
We have, it's basically 6.
now 6.
And that was just to get back to what it was before.
Well, do we need 6? Can we do it with 5? Can we do it with 4? Shrewsbury Borough's competitive with us, they do it with 3. It's just a conversation.
Yeah, no,
Who does Shrewsbury Borough's,
They don't have
inspections
zoning,
and,
they don't have a zoning officer.
They outsource it.
Right, so that's right
That
there for
counts
us,
as
is
a-
2 people.
Do they have to do any water testing? They do?
Yeah. Yeah, they have their own system as well as.
Yeah.
I thought they were,
So-
thought they were all uniform, just the township. Okay.
It's a conversation that I've tried bringing up in the past. I would like to have that conversation, not just an automatic, there's an opening in whatever position. Sometimes it's a no-brainer, yes, we absolutely have to have that filled, fill it. You know, do that. But I don't think every position necessarily, once it's looked into, justifies being filled, just because there's an open position. And I'll just throw it out there, this rec, from the beginning, we had a great volunteer rec. They did great things for our community. They ran the programs. And did it cost the taxpayer? Now the taxpayer's paying to have the rec. And then we have a rec board that are volunteers, but in the interim, while we don't have a rec director, the board isn't even meeting, is that correct?
We met the other day.
And you hadn't met in how many months? Two?
Yeah.
That board should be running these
Oh, hold on,
programs.
They did meet, let me clarify that, they did meet, they did not have a quorum.
Well, then they didn't meet.
They should be having these meetings every month, whether they have a director or not. They should be running these programs. So now we're paying for, the citizens are paying to have a rec director, 17,000+ a year out of the general fund, because I call it a tax, other people don't, per capita. But now we have on top of that, now we have our borough manager, who is putting together the Veterans Day dinner. And now the citizens of New Freedom are now paying his salary for the time that he puts into that. So now they're paying to have a rec director, but now they're paying to have him too. Am I making sense? That we're being like double billed here for this? And this Veterans Day event, the volunteer rec board handled that. You know, I think that's something that you guys, as the rec, I think, is there 8 of you?
Total, yes.
8? I don't feel that our borough manager should
I think
be.
the rec board is handling a lot of it. They're taking in the donations, they're going out and giving money.
We have a list that's provided.
Andrew
in previous
volunteered
years.
last year and did the food and whatnot. But yeah, your point's well taken.
You know, having him assume the roles of making sure that rec happens when you have a board of 8 people, why are we spending more money, New Freedom is, to have him be doing things? He didn't have a role before. I don't think he should have a role now.
But we're not paying more money, it's just taking away from his other duties.
He costs money.
But I'm saying it's taking away from the other duties that he normally would do and puts a lot of extra pressure on his job.
I think
So
you do have to acknowledge the fact that when we had a volunteer rec board, that the borough office and Andrew spent a lot of time getting flyers together, sorting flyers, helping with different activities, putting up the stage. I mean, there was still activity involved with the borough office and with Andrew. It wasn't just all volunteer work.
Just seems that he has, you know, and his time is money. X amount of hours that he put on this event and other events, you know, over this past year, that's money. And that's time taken away from his duties in the office. And again, I'm just saying, we have a rec board of 8 people, plus the people are already paying, what is it, $350 a person?
Yeah.
Is that what, $375?
350.
$350 a person, which equates to about 17
About 17 and a half.
for the whole year.
Correct.
You know, so we're already paying $17,000 to have this rec director. Now we're shelling out more money for him to do stuff for that rec board. I just think the rec needs to assume more responsibility in running it. The volunteers on it, they should be doing it, as well as we need to be looking at when we have open positions not to arbitrarily just automatically fill them. If that, I don't know if it can come to the, because I generally don't hear if there's an open position, I find out about it here that, just like this.
I was under the impression that that was supposed to be a job posting. You said that 2 months ago, Mr. Manager. You would create a job posting for this rec director, and we still haven't seen it, but you're interviewing people for it? So where are the job postings being posted?
No, I didn't see him raise
So
his
I
hand,
just,
actually.
you know, I don't know if something can come to the council, put it on to talk about how to handle open positions, just something.
Yeah.
As
Is that
a-
appropriate to
as a
talk
cost
about at the
savings.
Next budget meeting?
Well, I think if there's questions about different roles, different positions, then that's the time that we should be having, the budget is the time that we should be having that conversation.
And don't, nobody confuse this up. I'm not asking anybody to be fired. We clear? Everybody's clear? I'm not looking for people to be fired. That is not my position here. It's just, we have 16 employees for a 2-square-mile borough.
No. We have a lot of, I mean, in some ways I agree with you, but all those 16 are not being paid for by New Freedom. Those wastewater treatment, that's all split between New Freedom and Shrewsbury. So,
And railroad.
and railroad.
Earlier I said.
So I don't even count them, to be honest with you.
Well,
Or
sure.
they're half employees.
Sure,
to be honest.
they're
They're
employees.
half employees.
Yes.
So
and
figure
earlier I
8
said,
employees
take-
plus the ones we have here. Council, unless you want to change what the council has previously stated, he has the right to fulfill any job, no new jobs, just to
Yeah.
fill old jobs that need to be.
So Kim, should we just keep filling old jobs when we don't need to be filling that positions? 'Cause
You
it's
and I,
just
You're
there,
asking
I'm
for,
sorry,
you're
but
asking
you
for
and
a
I don't-
justification.
you know?
You
You're
and
asking
I
for-
don't
you're
know
asking
what
to
goes on
justify
in
the
this
jobs.
borough during the week when there's 3 guys in a hole trying to fix a water leak, or a
I'm
lot
not
of other
asking for
things.
hyperbole situations.
It's not
I'm
hyperbole,
just-
it
I'm just
happens every
saying.
week.
Sure, I'm saying that comparable municipalities can do it, their whole municipality with.
They do it because they
fine.
hire out. They don't have snow removal, they hire out.
Yeah.
They contract out for
Well-
snow removal.
Going forward, when those positions open up, maybe we should be looking at that, because they're not doing it because it costs them more money. Make sense?
Brian's not happy with his 5.5 feet.
I'm sure Brian's run thin. Brian
He's
does a
run
lot.
very thin.
It's just, I'd like to have the conversation.
Okay.
It warrants a conversation.
Yeah.
We're,
Yeah, we can
we're,
do it.
we're looking to increase revenue and implement a tax. I don't think that's the direction that this council or borough needs to be going in. You know, be more fiscally manageable, responsible.
Well, since you segued right into that, I'll give my little comments I want to make about budget on my president's report. I think none of this is new information that I'm going to say here. This is just a couple of things, but I think it really needs to be on the record. At the beginning of my first term, there was no reserve, and we've talked about reserves in the budget. In fact, it was just the opposite. We had to borrow money to fulfill in-progress contracts. All the reserves were previously used in the Marge Goodfellow Park overrun, and we had to find money to repair the Public Works roof. So most of our fund balances in our budget are borrowed money. And again, I want to make 100% perfectly clear, I am 100% pro-police. The police are not free, but I'm 100% pro-police. We see more violent crime coming into town. We see it every month in the chief's report about people coming in from Baltimore and people tearing up a ATM machine at the bank and taking it with them. And you know, we definitely need the police. This is for our safety. And we also need our EMS and fire, which we're spending more money on. So the increases to our emergency services are affecting our public works budget. We're transferring more monies that we plan to do for road work to cover the new police contract. The LST that we referred to, the local services tax, is a way to cover most of this year's police commission increase without increasing taxes on our residents. It's a tax passed and authorized by the PA legislature to allow municipalities to recover the cost of services provided to people who work here but do not live here. A lot of people already pay this. You work in Redline, you pay an LST if you live in New Freedom and work in Redline. I mean, this is a very common tax, and it's a very cheap tax. I mean, right now it's like, it's $1 a week, so it's $52 a year. But it allows us to recover for services, for emergency services, and that's the tax you were just referring to. So I just want it on record, and maybe somebody can mark the spot on the tape, but we did not have reserves coming into New Freedom Borough whenever the majority of this council took office.
Well, that goes back to the spending, filling open positions because they're open, and the continuous spending, that just goes right back.
That was a $790,000 overrun on a park. I mean,
Did the park
why
need to
that?
happen, you know?
Probably not.
So it's those sorts of decisions that I'm speaking about.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think everything always needs looked at a second time with a fresh set of eyes, and I agree that we should have that conversation. But I think that we're really getting down to skin and bones on our public works, and we really can't touch the sewage treatment plant. That's not even, we manage it. Yes, there are employees, but they're covered by other people as well, and it's not, you don't want to go home and not be able to flush the toilet, and neither do I, so.
I said remove them.
But yeah, we can look at other stuff, and, so yeah, that definitely warrants a conversation. And that's all I had. Mr. Mayor, schema report.
I really don't have a monthly schema report because we only meet quarterly, and I think I already did report on the last, at the last meeting, what was going on. I would encourage everybody, I think you got a notice today to sign up for a time for an enactment of emergency management. I know personally, we have some people that it doesn't work out during the day because of work and other things. I think we're probably looking at a 6 o'clock. I didn't look at the final. Did you look at the final count?
The voting?
Yeah, the voting was majority earlier was 6 o'clock. I encourage everybody to attend this because God forbid I shouldn't read. What else can I use besides the handgun? It's one of those things that you hope to God you never have to use it, but if you have to use it and you don't have it,
That's good enough. You're right.
But we need to be ready. We need to be ready for anything on behalf of the people that we represent. Each and every one of us that sits here, our borough manager. One thing I would like to, I'll bring it up at the budget meeting. We need another radio. We need a second radio. We had two. The one was at the firehouse. Nobody can find it. We need one here at the borough. If I'm away on vacation, you're going to have to break into my house to get the one that the borough owns because I keep it at the house, so I know what's going on all the time. That's about $5,000.
He gave us permission to break into his house.
Yeah.
I think it's borough equipment, it should be in this building.
No, I'm the emergency management person, if something
Agree to
happens,
disagree,
I need
Mr.
to
Mayor.
go from home.
You're-
I'm not gonna hear the radio go off at all.
Maybe you should stay in the office. Maybe,
What?
that's where you
You want
get,
me to just get a cot?
well, you could.
Never mind, I'm sorry.
Don't engage.
Yeah, so we are gonna need another radio. I wanna, don't let me forget that when it comes time to bring up.
When you know that you're out of town, is it possible to leave it down here?
If I remember, yeah.
We're okay. We need,
Yeah.
it's not, it's, you know,
But he should have
again,
one
another analogy, if you have two, you have one, if you have one,
One,
you have none.
that's
So
right.
We should have a backup.
So Andrew needs to have that because that's a non-legislative thing that I can temporarily assign him to do. Other than that, and the time this week, I think everything's gone well. I will say, make a comment about, I know we tabled it, but your local fire department's scared to death that something's gonna happen with that comprehensive plan, because the first thing that they heard was, they're gonna have to build and move. They're gonna have to build a new fire department.
But then, Mr. Mayor, please report to the fire department that we
I
have
have done that, but
we have voted no on the comprehensive.
until they see it in writing, it's always a possibility. You never know what the next council that comes in may think.
Then I have a question, why aren't they mentioning this during their report while he's here?
Because I'm the liaison between the fire department and the council, and I'm bringing that message back on behalf of the fire department. He's only the fire chief. There's a president of the fire company, and he is only the chief.
That goes back to the fire study, because that was in the fire study too.
That was a
But even-
possibility.
Yeah, even in the fire
We
study,
turned that
though,
down.
yeah, the fire study said that, no, we didn't need to do that.
We didn't need it.
Sometime
Everything we're
in the
doing
future.
now is fine, because we have the chase truck, we're covered. If anybody
But the
needs
council
to,
voted for it.
if anybody needs to do something, it would be, Shrewsbury Township.
Southern Regional Police Department report.
Brittany Barnett was voted in as chairman, and the vice chair will be voted on this next meeting, and we swore in the new interim mayor, Jessica Fisher, from Shrewsbury Borough. I was a bit surprised, there were 3 families from New Freedom that came and talked about a drug house that's been going on for a year or more in our municipality that I had no idea about.
Maybe, I don't know, we don't want to put addresses out there. do we?
It's an ongoing, so.
I'm wondering,
It's an
I'll
ongoing.
talk to you later if it's the same one I'm thinking of, that
So that was
it's not
kind
really
of,
a drug house. But
please sort of aware of it. I just, as a borough council member in my no municipality, I wasn't aware of it. At the time of the meeting, it was October 1st, so Sergeant didn't have the reports. The reports are now here. He was away on the issue. Glen Rock had several, multiple issues maybe with one resident. So they were a bit up on their numbers, so chief will work with that. And there was more discussion about disruptive conduct ordinances, how they work. Glen Rock has them, Stewartstown has them. They work, I forgot how many hours Stewartstown was up. One family caused them tens and tens of hours in police services until they were able to use their disruptive conduct ordinance. And of course, Northern Regional Police Department, our department helped out during the situation on the scene, transporting, standing watch. So it was an effort from a lot of the departments in our area through that difficult time. The drug bin right out here in the entryway had approximately 800 pounds of
prescription medication that was taken away in 1 year. So that is definitely something great for the community, so it doesn't end up down our drains or in trash, anybody getting hold of it. And they just asked, you can put multiple different types of medication in one jar, just don't put them in there loose, because when they go to take it out, that could be a problem. Chief is on some light duty. I haven't checked in the last week. I haven't seen him. He had a little bit of a foot injury, so he was going around on his little scooter. Hopefully he is feeling better. And we're still waiting on the house fire in Stewartstown from the 2 fatalities.
Is that the one that's on the corner of Main Street?
I believe so, yeah, that question was asked, they're still waiting. Was this the one with the tasers?
Yeah.
It was,
Dan Teague came in.
yeah, I saw him at another location and kind of started talking to Sergeant Teague, and I inquired on any items that they need while we're budgeting for the department, and he talked about tasers, which we knew tasers were coming up. There's been money set aside, they purchased a few, but we have tasers in our department that our officers are issued that are outdated. They're not even current. Sergeant Teague turned on his taser to show me that the little screen that should light up to give him information doesn't light up. You know, he downloads the information, the software, there's software that has to be downloaded onto them. He keeps them updated, downloads them when he needs to, but I think it's absolutely incomprehensible that we send our officers out to protect our community or to protect us with tasers that are completely outdated by 3 or 4 generations. So there is 10,000 there from last year, they're putting 10,000 more. They already have 4 tasers, and there's some reserve money. So with that, asked Sergeant Teague to come to the next meeting with an estimate for the number of tasers that he would need to get, so.
Do they have an approximate cost per taser?
Well, that's interesting, because the one company that you can get it from, they used to be approximately $1,200, and being that they're a own company that you can get it from, they've doubled their prices on their tasers.
How are they the only
They're-
company
They
that
have
are
a
approved for
monopoly
law
at this
enforcement?
They
point.
have a monopoly on tasers for law enforcement.
How is that wildly?
Yep, so they
I'll
double
tell you,
it.
I've never been tased, but, I mean, are they rechargeable? I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
how they work.
It's bad, and so it not only puts the officer, and this was another crazy thing. An officer cannot just pull out his taser. I just thought, you know, if somebody's being unruly or something, the officer can pull out their taser and, you know, get control of the situation. They cannot. The law changed about 5 years ago. The officer has to go hand-to-hand combat before they can pull and discharge their taser. So now you want our officers to get into hand-to-hand combat situations and pull that taser, and hopefully that taser works.
And hopefully the person that they're wrestling with doesn't get the taser first.
Doesn't get the taser, but then
That's
if it
happened.
doesn't, they've got to go right to deadly force. So that not only puts our boroughs and department in a liability situation that maybe didn't need to occur because the taser would have been sufficient. So I just think with the situations we've seen locally here, Spring Grove, at the hospital, it's a dangerous, dangerous place out there.
That's a state law?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same police have to follow that too.
So,
2 things. One, when you get a chance to look at her microphone, it cuts in and out while she's talking. Even though you're not doing it, while you're sitting there, it's cutting in and out.
okay.
So I don't know. Number 2, is your police department getting involved with getting shields that are rifle proof and that type of thing?
Yes, we did that. That had been brought up last year. And they brought in their shields. They're 20 and 25 years old. They're held together with duct tape. And so we had that discussion last year, and some money was in the budget. And there was some in the capital budget and in reserves that we had allocated for that. So that was brought up, and they are on order. We're getting 5 shields.
Specific is the rifle thing, because
Rifle rated, yes, there was some discussion, handgun rated, rifle rated, and finally the decision was made to stop messing around. Let's get rifle rated.
That was this year, that was just
2 months ago.
2 months
Yeah.
ago. Sorry.
Just make a comment on what you're saying. One of the things in my representation of municipalities, we kind of track these things. Pennsylvania this year has had 4 police officers die in the line of duty. All 4 of them occurred in York County. That puts Pennsylvania 3rd in the nation, behind California with 10 and Texas with 8. So
Maybe we should look at a poor
to
department.
your.
Let's talk 3 or 4 of them were all from the same department, that was improperly trained,
business.
exercising,
That type of
you know,
thing is a-
violence
it's a
and
tragedy.
ROE that goes against policy.
You're out of order, sir.
I don't
Please
care.
stop.
And you're not gonna use a poor department as a model for another department. You had one department experience those issues, and that department is poorly trained.
Did you have anything else, Eric?
That was it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, sure.
With regards to the equipment that the police department has, we've been hearing lately that it's outdated, it's in need of replacement. You said about the shields being 20 to 25 years old. Sorry, I don't have one, I'm not allowed one.
Another one.
We've been talking a lot about their equipment. And I guess for the representatives that are on the police board, was there an answer provided on why it went this long? Obviously, there's budget constraints, and I understand that. But just kind of looking at that, that seems like an administrative issue that should have been brought up before it's, hey, our shields are 25 years old, they're duct taped together. Why did it get to that point? Why? And with the tasers, if they're not working, that's equipment that needs to be, and I completely understand that there's budget requirements, but then we kind of hear that there's reserve money. Well, I think those things, they need the proper equipment. Why is it taking this long to come to light, I guess?
Well, I talked about the shields for 2 years before it ever came about. So it had been being talked about, but I know that they had to get all the revolvers or service revolvers, all of those had to be replaced, so that was a year. I know all of their body cams, that had to go to a new company, and that, so there have been things, and he was able to get 4, I think they need 14 tasers, he was able to get 4 last year.
Okay.
Another reason was he doesn't want people, because it's another version, he would like them all to have the same taser, so when they're doing their practicing or, you know, whatever, they're using the same
That
model
should be uniform.
of taser. And I reiterated it before, but our department does a good job of not having them fluff. And if they could get by on some things, not necessarily saying that the taser should have went this long. I think we had a problem with a vehicle, we had to get an unexpected vehicle this last year. You know, so some things have come up.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, I think there's a mindset too, like one of the things that one of the officers said was, we didn't want to appear greedy.
Yes.
And it's like, but that's safety stuff. I mean, that almost, I mean, that kind of just, that hit me pretty hard because like, it's your safety and your life. You need a shield, you need a taser. So, yeah, I think we'll get them away from that. I mean, I think for critical equipment, they definitely need to come forward and make sure the police commission is aware of it.
And I think that's what I'm saying, is I think the commission should be made aware of those things before it goes that long. And
Absolutely.
I don't know that there's going to be resistance, like you said, to equipment that's necessary to save someone's life. I mean, it needs to be in place.
And vests were done recently. I think there's 3 more officers that need to be fit this coming year. They do it kind of on a rotation. So there has been other equipment, you know, during this time.
And all this stuff expires, like a
Yeah.
vest
I
is
was
only
just gonna
good for
say,
like 5 years.
I never
and then-
realized that their vests expire. I mean, you've never used it, why did it expire? I guess it's kind of like beer, you can't keep it in the refrigerator for 10 years and expect it.
Do they have a list of, you said like the revolvers had to be replaced, the jackets, the other items like police cars, do they keep a rolling list to budget for them in the coming years, much like we do with the vehicles?
That's why there was 10,000 from last year that hasn't been used for the tasers, and there's another 10,000 for this year. So absolutely, when they know things are coming, absolutely.
Then how come it feels like they're pushing these off, that they're duct taping and blank screens and?
Well, I don't know that shields are ever pulled out that often, and
I
they're
mean,
just.
let's hope that they're not, but when you need it, you
and-
need it.
Well, yeah, and then what happened at the hospital happened, and it kind of just brought the urgency to people that, well, you know.
In the future, I hope there's more urgency around being proactive and.
Well, things like tasers, I guess they probably really only need 4, because they only have 2 officers on at a time, right?
Everybody
2, 3,
is
4.
the 14, everybody is assigned
Why does
one.
everybody have to have one if
Everyone-
they're sitting at home?
You have your own taser, just like you have your own revolver. They don't share revolvers. They don't share vests.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say they need or is required, then
Yeah, I
it should be,
just
but
didn't know how that whole thing operates.
I think,
So I figured
you know-
they'd come in the office, grab it out of the charger like they do the radios, you know.
I would say maybe the department's a little timid. The boroughs haven't quite treated them nicely when they have come for things or needed things or withdrawn and that sort of thing. And, you know, I think over, you know, the last 7 years, 8 years, there's been a lot of turmoil with some municipalities.
you need
And-
freedom or other ones?
New Freedom withdrew at one point, 2018.
At
New
one
Freedom
point,
was at
yeah.
one
You know,
point, Glenrock withdrew, and now they're just buying services.
And
I
so,
mean,
I mean,
anything
you know,
to do with
it-
equipment.
something that I try to drive home, I mean, Glenrock is buying hours. It's entirely different for a police officer to go into a town that he hasn't been in, or hasn't been
Yeah.
part of his normal driving
Patrol.
around
Yeah.
duty area. I mean, they picked up in Stewartstown, remember that time they caught a guy with a bunch of stuff in his car just because they looked and said, well, that car doesn't belong here, and they went and looked at the car. You know, and it's the same thing. So Glenrock being a contract person, a contract entity now, they get less normal patrol time, and there are probably less things, and it becomes a more of a dangerous situation for a police officer. That's just a fact.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And some people, elected officials, have tried to micromanage the department at times. Absolutely. I'm not saying it was a New Freedom, but some elected officials have tried to micromanage how that department decisions and run.
How can, I don't know if it's appropriate to comment on here, but I'm really curious about that, because that is
Me too, because the
highly
commission,
inappropriate.
well,
They can talk offline.
I could,
Yeah, so,
there have been,
and I just go back to the comment, they said they didn't want to seem to be greedy, and I just, you know, I think that maybe the department has been a little bit not been treated too nicely at times, and, you know, like by some
Excuse me if I
municipalities.
could.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there some type of, like say, revolvers every 5 years, tasers every 3, is some type automatic
There is a schedule.
system?
Yes,
Schedule
there
in
is.
They
place?
are doing that. I mean, and we're trying to buy the shields so that we can, and start rotating them out so that they don't all expire at the same time. And yeah, there's PMS kind of stuff in
And the
place.
cost of those will kill you right away.
We didn't want to buy 5 originally, buy 2, and then do it on a rotation until you get there. But with the situation that kind of happened, you know, you need it when you need it.
That also would relieve the guilt of the people asking. Oh, it's an automatic thing. They don't have to ask.
That's true, yeah.
So,
Did you have something like?
And they
Yeah,
they
so-
try to keep it a little longer if they can, even if it has a 5-year, you know, something, you know, if they can get 7 out of it, great.
So the thing with the vest, I wore one for years, what breaks it down is your sweat, and in the summer, the humidity and everything, you're pouring sweat.
Yeah.
So sweat breaks that material down, and usually I would put baby powder down my back because you get rashes and all these things. So all that cakes into it, and after a couple of years, it gets out of shape. And also certain bending movements when you're getting in and out of the patrol car gives crease in the vest, and in those creases are points of weaknesses. So that's why they die off so quickly.
Engineering report for warehouse. Any questions? Okay. Water system.
August should say August at the bottom, right?
There's two, one for August and then.
They both say September. August should say August, right?
Yes.
Okay. I made a change last night.
Any questions? Wastewater system. Do you have anything to point out about the progress meeting or?
No, there's another meeting scheduled for this coming Wednesday, so we'll have updates from that as well.
The average was up, daily average. Usually hovers around 1 million, it's 1.4.
Yeah.
Zoning and code enforcement.
I was like,
Here,
they're
like
gonna have to
here,
move
like
their wall?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, they improve on stuff.
235 North Second. What percentage would you determine has been cleaned up? Because I went by and there's all kinds of stuff in the front yard again.
That was a result of the individual that was staying there on a temporary basis, coming back and attempting to remove things from the property. So we're working with the homeowner on that as well.
Okay, yeah, because it was right in front of the porch area there and then over by
Oh,
that.
that shed.
Shed, yeah.
The-
The trailer is being removed?
That's next on the list. The 3 junk trailers that were towards the townhome side of the property, I saw those being loaded up on a flatbed, I believe last week or the week before. There are multiple vehicles there. There's still one vehicle that's not tagged, that's towards the Heritage Rail Trail. And then now there's the additional items that were basically rummaged through, I guess, that were stored in the garage that have been made their way back to the porch. So back to the porch and back in front of the building. But we're much better than we were.
I'd like to say one more month and I'd like to see a property that you know well on the sheet. And I'd like to see some citations, because it's, 10 years is enough. You know which one I'm talking
And it all determines on when that closing actually occurs.
about. I don't care when it closes, they need to start paying, somebody needs to, whether it's a bank, whether it's the previous owner, whether it's a nephew, somebody needs to start doing something, because it's gonna fall down into the alley.
For this, for the cars and the trailer, is something being done? You said it's on the list. Is something being done or nothing?
Oh, yes, yeah, they're pulling all those cars, the one, it's this one that is still there. And that, like I said, that's towards the rail trail, Pleasant Avenue side of the property. Because that one is owned by a relative and they're trying to get them to remove it, but everything else is,
But I don't see a picture of the trailer that is the second occupancy.
that was closed up, but you're correct, there's no picture in there of that trailer, but that's part of the vehicle storage violation as well. But the understanding and the agreement with the homeowner is that needs to go as well.
Is there a timeline?
On that one, it looks like the follow-up visit was scheduled for 10:15. She did call me last week and asked for Wednesday of this week. So. So we're going with it this point.
Questions on subdivision and land development? Recreation?
We met virtually today as a group for the re-advertisement of the position. We changed some verbiage slightly, and then that will be put online. And you're going to do the same places, correct? The national website, something along with Indeed.
Correct.
That will be done. My calendar here real quick, make sure I have the dates right. For the remainder of this week, next weekend, all of next week, and then we'll come down on November 3rd, giving everybody 2 full weeks and 2 full weekends to apply. Individuals that had previously applied and had not made the cut will be notified. If they want to clean up their resume, they can do so. Maybe try to look at a little bit more presentable. That's their option. So any kind of information that comes from that will be on the 3rd, after the 3rd.
Thank you. Business development, something Walt said.
Hold on a minute. Actually, I need to apologize. We do have one vacancy. Notice was given at the last meeting. That is a New Freedom Borough position. So we will need to advertise for that.
For a board member?
Correct.
Okay.
Here it says no meeting held July, August, and September.
Without the quorum.
So until today, you hadn't met since June?
I don't believe that's accurate.
July, if you didn't meet July, August, and September,
No,
then
June we had.
That's what I'm saying, so
And then I
from
think we had
today,
July,
you hadn't met since
August,
June.
No, I think you met in July.
Yeah, August and September that we did it.
Right, the reason, I think, the reason it says July there is because there wasn't a meeting for them to approve their July financial report to be able to provide it to council. But I believe July was the last one before Gina
Right.
left, right?
Right.
Anyway, something Walt said, and we were talking about the area down next to Crescent Industries and that whole industrial area down there. Do we need to go out and find businesses for New Freedom? Do we need to be more proactive to try to, I mean, obviously, New Freedom doesn't own the land, but do we need to be proactive to go out and,
I'm not, what's the question?
The old Summers Canning Factory you're talking
Yeah.
about by
Yeah.
Crescent? Oh, that Crescent? Okay.
yeah, I mean, somebody owns the property right now, they're using it for.
Who does own the property?
Yeah, I mean, the property's utilized and it's
Yeah.
cut up into multiple different uses.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah,
Each,
so-
there are different businesses
I
in
guess you just
different
gotta assume
buildings.
that the person who owns the property is using it for the best, the highest value that they can get. I just was thinking, I mean, we talk about business development, but, is there something we could do to be more proactive? It's just a thought.
I mean, if you're looking at redevelopment, then that really comes down to, economic development of downtown and being able to utilize those businesses for a more commercial, welcoming purpose. And that's in your zoning and subdivision and development ordinance.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we know who rents or uses what portion of those buildings for what business? I mean, I'm just thinking, do we even have an ordinance that states that business owners must report to us who occupies? Because I know darn well none of those places have Knox boxes. And the one used to be a garage. I don't know if it still is. There was a guy that was operating a garage in the back. So there was plenty of flammable liquids and oil, grease.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that would specifically require notification unless
Or
there's.
registration.
Or registration unless there's a change in use or a change in occupancy that would require a certificate of occupancy be issued.
Because that gets back to what you were saying. We want those businesses and buildings to be productive and bring people to work or give our citizens, residents an opportunity to have a place locally to work if we can. I like that idea, Andy.
Maybe we should have a,
Look-see.
a committee meeting to, sit down and see, are there things we can do? I know.
Meet with the owner maybe and say, are there things that we can do to help you to fill these if you need it?
Yeah, I mean, we made the committee, might as well use it and see if it is. So why don't we plan on, at our next meeting, we can flesh that out a little bit. Put it on the agenda.
Question, do you have business licenses here? Or someone who starts a business?
Use and occupancy.
Yeah, use and occupancy, we don't.
Right.
No, but we don't have a business license.
Nothing like that. How about Chamber of Commerce or Business Association? Which are suggested in those planning.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of thing that I used to be president of Chamber of Commerce, so that was part of the thing. You go out and either help business develop, getting other businesses and put it all call out to others.
Yeah, there used to be a Southern York County division of the Chamber of Commerce because I was a member of it. And it just, for some reason, disbanded years ago. But I like your idea. Now, they do a businessmen's group, don't they, that meets down at New Freedom Restaurant Coffee Shop? Do they still meet down there? Anybody know?
I know they still have Businessmen's Association. I don't know if they're active or how active they are. That's something else. Let me do a little better research.
Okay,
and
sure.
Next meeting we'll.
I'll try to ask some of the Lions, because I know their businessmen in there.
I'm looking here, there is a Southern York County Business Association.
I thought so.
Yeah, sycba.com, sycba.com,
Okay.
sycba.com.
What do they operate out of? say where they are.
They have a website?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why CEA.com.
Oh.com.
What does it say where they are?
Do you have anything on fire, EMS and fire?
Loganville, PA.
Logan.
PO Box,
Yeah.
Loganville.
No, your bingo's coming up, I think this weekend, isn't it?
Yes.
I couldn't make the last meeting. I have a granddaughter playing in an important match. By the way, the seniors won their field hockey.
Boys soccer play, boys and girls soccer play tonight also for,
States. Now they go to divisions next week. Wow, cool. So, good. Can I back up?
Sure.
Deposits for the community center. People screw up, they don't get their deposits back. Do we put them on a do not repeat list and you ain't coming back here no more list? Because we had a mess this week. Want to talk about it later? Or- I mean, I think when we've got people that are that bad, they should be put on a do not rent list. Don't even know who it was, but
That's something that we can look at, but I will tell you that's a double-edged sword because a lot of your community organizations are the culprits to that.
I don't know who it was, and I don't know if you're willing to say who it was now or
Well,
not.
it was a private event, so I'm not. Yeah.
Oh, if it was a private event, but it
But
was not
I would, again,
an organization.
make the statement that the community organizations often neglect the building more than the private renters.
I
And
don't know
have.
which ones it isn't.
You might be surprised.
We'll talk. If there's a problem, and it's something I'm affiliated with, I'll be more than willing to.
Yeah, I mean, even whether it's private or it's community organization, I feel that the office has done a better job of managing those deposits, not returning deposits, making sure, partnering with Public Works to make sure that that building is inspected when there is a rental. So again, we've put the measures in place and there's been quite a few deposits that haven't been returned.
Good.
Or
That's-
we're charging what the cleaning company is charging the borough to,
Is that included in the contract? Yeah.
it's part of the deposit. If the building's not kept up, then
I figure you just keep the whole deposit. Do you have to account for every dollar that it costs you to put it back into shape, or you just keep the deposit in general?
you need some kind of backup, some kind of information what it costs.
How about the place looks like crap and it took 8 people to clean it up?
There's a time and a cost associated with that.
Did they get their deposit back? Do you know about this time?
I was made aware this morning, yes. Especially from the cleaner who said she was an absolute mess, so.
the money.
And that was after it was cleaned.
Is the money that's being charged sufficient to cover the time and effort?
Yes. $400.
We raised it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So does it need to go to 450?
I don't think so. And we talked at the budget meeting a little bit that the rentals of that, the community center were down, not the Lions room, but the auditorium. I don't know if that's because of having that upfront payment of deposit, but if that's keeping some of the problems away, it's probably worth it.
I'm sorry, I wanted to bring that up earlier during your report. slipped my mind.
Anything else from committees? York County Boroughs Association, say RSVP before 11/14. This is installation of officers, service recognition. Dinner.
That's the
Annual day.
And
Yeah, everybody has that in their packet.
I'd encourage more, if you can, to participate in that. It's a good organization. They have a lot of good, the programs that they have at the meetings are, especially the last one, is phenomenal. We talked about it, with rescue dogs and the amount of money that they invest. And, I mean, these people put out money out of their own pocket to cover the costs of their dogs because they don't get paid, they don't get reimbursed.
Yeah, and if you just want to let me know, I can make sure it gets sent in along with payment to David.
We need to do anything with this York County Planning Commission?
You need to tell the people that there's an over 300,000 square foot warehouse going in over on the other side of 83 by Giant that's gonna be keep bringing in 100 more trucks and cars a day from exit 4.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it, you're right.
Township?
Township, yeah.
Is that the township?
Where the old Muslim one was, right?
Yeah, this is Hopewell.
Oh, that's Hopewell.
That's Hopewell.
And what is, I'm sorry, what is it?
It's a trucking
It's
warehouse.
like over 300,000 square feet.
Okay, so
You've seen them up the road. you've
Yeah,
seen
I
them.
gotta ask a
There's
question.
another one going
If
in.
they're having something like that, they're gonna have bathrooms.
One lot.
It's one lot, but
No,
they're,
one lot septic.
oh, that's a big septic.
It comes across 2 or 3 parcels, Mr. Mayor.
What?
This,
Okay.
this is relatively old news at this point. I was in Hopewell Township trying to fight it. It's an egregious rezoning or variance, whatever their administration wants to call it, but it was a greasing the wheels for corporate America to come in and redevelop farmland or
Wasn't-
agricultural
It was
space.
an old trailer park.
Yep.
It was an old trailer park.
Another one that's supposed to be going in behind Royal Farms over there.
Unfortunately, we're the hub. I mean, we're the right driving distance from different areas and everyone converges here and they go,
I
next
find
thing
it
goes
ironic
south.
that they're building more when the ones north of York sit empty.
That's probably a good question.
I mean,
Yeah,
not New Freedom, so.
yeah, I know.
But it's gonna affect, I mean, we all go to Shrewsbury and shop.
I remember when it used to take 4 minutes to get from New Freedom to Kmart. Now you're lucky, it takes you longer to get to exit 4 than it does from 4 to York.
Public comment on non-agenda items?
Andrew, do we
If you read it again, I'm calling for an adjournment.
Is there any?
Okay, then you can interrupt the rest of the people's business because we're gonna do this again.
Do we have time?
We're gonna go over the violation information for federal fiscal year 2021 through 2025 for New Freedom Borough Water Authority. Violation 19053, failure to monitor or report entry point disinfectant residual for groundwater rule. Violation awareness date, May 19, 2025. Violation 09124, failure to monitor or report routine samples for contaminants specified. Violation awareness date, January 23rd, 2024. Violation 09125, failure to monitor